Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people from around the world. Thank you for tuning back in here to the Appalachian Post podcast. Welcome back on a nice Monday morning here. I'm not sure how it is where you're at. By the time this is posted, it'll probably be Monday afternoon. But I wanted to stop in here on Monday, talk to you a little bit about something that happened last week here. Operation Absolute Resolve. Operation Absolute Resolve, the capture of Maduro and Flores in Venezuela. So we're going to stop in here, report the facts as we have them. Most of what you're going to hear here on the podcast today, you can actually go to the White House YouTube page and look at watch the briefings on this, because that's where we got a lot of this information from, straight from the horse's mouth. We don't have any secret sources or anything like that, so we're just going to try to give you the facts as plainly publicly stated. So the operation was a targeted U.S. operation conducted to apprehend Maduro and Flores, both of whom have already been indicted in the Southern District of New York on federal charges tied to narcotics trafficking and terrorism-related activity. So that's the important first part. And so according to the White House, the operation was the result of months of planning and interagency coordination involving U.S. military forces operating in support of U.S. law enforcement with intelligence assistance from multiple federal agencies. The mission was executed overnight to reduce civilian risk and preserve operational surprise. More than 150 U.S. aircraft were involved across air, maritime, intelligence, surveillance, and support roles. U.S. forces entered and exited Venezuelan territory in a compressed time window, apprehended the indicted individuals, and withdrew without any U.S. fatalities. Several service members were injured, all of whom were reported to be in stable condition. And in our last research looking into that, it seemed that they were all being reported as in good condition, so that's important. Both Maduro and Flores were taken into U.S. custody and are being transferred to face proceedings in federal court. The White House stated that the operation was not a declaration of war, it's not an occupation, it's not a territorial seizure. But what it is a limited mission tied directly to enforcing U.S. law and addressing ongoing national security threats. And it's no secret that it doesn't seem like it to me anyway that there's any secret that there were a lot of national security threats that existed in that area. But we can dive into that with facts at another time. Why the president was within his authority. Now, this part's really important because it's being glossed over by a lot of voices. That's my interpretation and opinion, purely my interpretation and opinion on that. No malice or anything or accusation fired at anybody. It's purely my interpretation and opinion. That statement. But under the U.S. Constitution, the president serves as commander-in-chief of the armed forces. I know that from a lot of people that I know who have went through the process of becoming armed forces, joining the armed forces, whether it was the Army, the Navy, Marines. It was always stated to me from them that is who they serve. And some of them have even went so far as to tell me that it's solely who they serve. So the President of the United States is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and that role gives him direct authority to deploy U.S. military forces overseas to protect national security and to support the enforcement of U.S. law. Operation Absolute Resolve fits squarely within that authority. It was a limited targeted action conducted in support of law enforcement to apprehend individuals already under federal indictment. It did not involve regime change, long-term occupation, or the seizure of foreign territory. U.S. courts have long held that the manner in which a defendant is brought before a U.S. court does not invalidate the court's jurisdiction. And once an indicted individual, from what we could find, is in U.S. custody, prosecution proceeds. So, and this is the principle that's been upheld for more than a century, nearest we could find. Congress has never revoked this presidential authority, and courts have consistently treated such actions as constitutional and political decisions, not criminal ones. So if this operation, bottom line, if this operation were illegal under U.S. law, immediate court challenges and injunctions would already be underway. And as far as we could find, none exist currently. Operation Absolute Resolve was conducted under established presidential authority, bottom line, consistent with constitutional powers, historical precedent, and long-standing legal doctrine. The controversy surrounding it is, from as far as I can tell, from where I'm sitting, is mostly coming off as political and diplomatic, not domestic legality. So under U.S. law, the president acted within his rights as far as we could tell and as far as we could find. Those are the facts. Hopefully that helps dispel some of the noise for you all like it did for me. And again, we're not going to sit here and tell you how to think, what side to be on, or to be on any side for that matter. We're not going to sit here and try to inject our opinion into anything. So beyond that, those are the facts as we could find them, to the best of our knowledge, to the best of our research. Have a good Monday. Have a good week. Hopefully this helped you out a little bit.